Am I the a-hole for denying my future in-laws' only request for the wedding, therefore ruining our whole relationship? Me, 23 female, and my fiancé, 27 male, are getting married in December. We got engaged in April and I pretty much did all the planning myself, with the help of my mom, in the first few weeks. From the very beginning, my fiancé and I had a plan laid out for the bridal party. That was one of the first things decided since before I had the ring on my finger, including flower girls and ring bearers. We decided that the flower girl would be my sister, who's also my matron of honor, baby who will be pushed in a stroller down the aisle by my 10F cousin who would be considered a junior bridesmaid. For the ring bearers, my fiancé really wanted to include his best friend's son. For context, his friend has not had custody of his child for most of his life, long story, and it could be a little difficult to arrange his attendance. He will be around a year and a half at the time of the wedding. As a result, we decided that we would also have my two cousins, 5 male and 7 male, the brothers of the junior bridesmaid, be ring bearers as well. This way it's no pressure on the friend and everything will go smoothly whether his child can come or not. The older boys will help the younger boy walk down the aisle holding his hands. We decided on these specific children because they are closely related close to us and are the right age. Shortly after the engagement, I asked my sister and my cousin, the moms of the children, if their kids could be in the wedding and gave details of what they should wear, etc. The kids and parents both were so excited. This was great and everything was going according to plan until a few weeks ago when my mother-in-law asked us if we would consider adding another flower girl. For context, my fiancé's brother best man, 24 male, lives across the country from us and has recently told us, around 4 months ago, that he has a new girlfriend, 21 female. This girlfriend has a child from a previous relationship, female 10 months. They have now known each other about 7 or 8 months. He is very serious about her and we are very happy for them. He has taken a sort of father role in her daughter's life, which is adorable. He is expressing interest in marrying her in the future, but they are taking it slow. My fiancé and I have never met this girlfriend or her child, but we are thrilled for his brother, so we of course invited them both to the wedding. Now this is where things get a little messy. I have always gotten along great with my fiancé's family. They have always been so sweet, kind, accepting, and well-meaning. They welcome newcomers with open arms, including me, and have really become my family. I especially had a great relationship with my mother-in-law. She is the sweetest lady and would do anything for me and any one of her children. She lives very close to us and my family lives far. She was always the first to say that it's our wedding, meaning mine and my fiancé, to encourage me to make my own decisions in wedding planning and not let my mother sway them. She has become like a mother to me in so many ways. With that being said, they are also very loving and accepting of my fiancé's brother's girlfriend and her baby from afar, which is great. I'm so glad that they are so supportive. They even started calling her baby their first grandchild and flew across the country to meet them. With this context in mind, a couple weeks ago when my mother-in-law and I were hanging out, just the two of us, she asked me if I would consider adding the girlfriend's baby as a flower girl. She said fiancé's brother keeps bringing it up and that it would be really cute. I politely told her that we already had a flower girl, my niece, and a junior bridesmaid assigned to push her in a carriage. She responded by saying essentially, "What's one more?" She will probably be able to walk by herself down the aisle by then, 14 to 15 months. I kind of just said I would think about it with my fiancé and changed the subject. Later on I told my fiancé about it and we both agreed that it wasn't a good idea because 1. We already had the role filled, and it would be sort of awkward to have a baby randomly walking next to the stroller with the other baby. 2. If she needed help walking, it wouldn't be easy for the 10-year-old to juggle 2 kids down an aisle. 3. We have never met her, and she might not be comfortable walking down the aisle of a wedding where she knows nobody. And 4. They aren't married, and worst case scenario, if they break up, she's in all the pictures. I know that sounds harsh, but I come from a family where traditionally, if you're not engaged, you don't get a +1 no matter who you are. I am not following this rule and everyone's significant other is invited, but that doesn't mean they get to be in the wedding. My fiancé and I were on the same page about this. We agreed to keep the bridal party the way it was. He talked to his brother and essentially told him it was a no and everything was fine and everyone was on the same page until the other night. We were at mother-in-law's house again, but this time my fiancé was there too. Once again, mother-in-law brings up the flower girl thing and my fiancé tells her that we already have the position filled and that's that. But then my mother-in-law tells my fiancé how much it must mean to his brother since he keeps bringing it up. This brings out the empath in my fiancé, and he starts to have an open mind about it. Meanwhile, I'm still against it. And I start to say so with some of the reasons I listed above. My mother-in-law points out that all of the children in the wedding are from my side except one, and that their side doesn't have any representation. Meanwhile, this is because there are no children on his side. She also points out that there are 3 little boys in the wedding, and why can't there be 3 little girls? At this point, she's convinced my fiancé, and I'm an island. I'm still defending my position alone. She wasn't being rude or anything, but every reason I have she seemed to have a rebuttal. She's saying things like, they will get married one day anyways, and she's already part of the family. Then I start saying, we will think about it. And she is like, so that sounds like a no, and I was like, we will consider it. It was awkward, and I was about to cry, so I changed the subject. The whole time I felt like I looked like a major asshole. It was really bad. My fiancé since apologized to me for being open to the idea in front of his mother when we had decided against it. From what he believed about his mother, he figured that she would just have an open conversation with us and not try to push her way. I figured it would not go that way. Later that night, he called his brother and told him it was for sure no, and we had already asked other people. His brother was sad but understood. I felt really bad and guilty for making my fiancé feel bad. In hindsight, I really should not have because of what followed afterwards. This is where my previous post left off. A lot has happened in the last few days. I was worried immediately after that conversation that his mother would tell his brother that my fiancé was for it, and I was against it while we were at her place. My fiancé said that he knows his mother well and that she wouldn't do that. That next morning, his brother calls him wanting to talk. The first words out of his mouth are, after our conversation last night, I talked to mom, and she said that you were wanting to have her as the flower girl, and your fiancé, and me, wasn't, just as I thought would happen. And he goes on to say, as your brother, I want to make sure that you get what you want since it's your wedding. I was pissed. My fiancé told him that we would still talk about it, but that we had already agreed not to have her as the flower girl, and that he should not have seemed so open to it last night. That whole day we discussed it. I felt like an asshole and was tempted to cave to keep the peace, but the only reason my fiancé was wanting it was because it meant a lot to his brother. But the conclusion we came to was that it's not his brother's wedding. So we called him up a few hours later and told him no for the 3rd time. He was upset, but at least it was over, or so we thought. He texted him the next morning again expressing how hurt he was by it, but at that point we were like, the decision is made. It's our wedding, please get over it, and then my fiancé's brother enlisted their mother. She calls my fiancé and basically attacks him for almost an hour on the phone. My fiancé did a great job of sticking up for us and sticking to his guns. His mom went as far as to say that my relationships with his whole family will forever be affected by this decision. That one hurt. And that my fiancé's relationship with his brother will forever be altered. At this point, this is all going way too far. We ended up talking to my fiancé's sister and found out that his brother no longer wants to be best man anymore, and that neither of them want to speak to us for a while. They said that this won't be resolved until we give in. I'm at a loss for words. This doesn't even feel like a real situation, to be honest. I feel like I'm in the twilight zone. We are definitely not going to give in. At this point, all that it would tell them is that if they push hard enough, they can manipulate us. It just really hurts because we had such a great relationship before this. Am I the asshole for saying no to their request? A lot has happened. Today, my fiancé went to see his dad and then his mom. They are separated. His dad is neutral, but has been sticking up for me in this whole thing. I have a great relationship with him. He filled us in on a lot. Here is essentially what has been happening. Turns out brother-in-law's girlfriend has more to do with this than we thought. As some of you suggested in the comments, she is the one who has been encouraging him to push for this, because it means a lot to him. And been super offended and making a big deal about us saying no. Personally, if it was me, I would never ask someone if my kid could be in their wedding. Even if it's family. But forcing it on strangers is wild. My fiancé found out from talking to his dad that my mother-in-law and brother-in-law are spreading a whole bunch of lies. Here is what has all unfolded. Mother-in-law is telling people I'm racist, and that's why I didn't want the baby in it. Apparently the baby and mother are Filipino, which I honestly didn't even know because once again I've never met them. They live across the country. I don't even know their last name. But still I don't care what race they are in the slightest. The girlfriend now believes this and doesn't even want to come to the wedding anymore. That's her choice. Also, the wedding party is diverse ethnicities, so how is it that I'm racist? LOL. Brother-in-law is telling people that we are judging the girlfriend and don't want her child in the wedding because she was born out of wedlock, which is ridiculous. 2 of the children who are already in the wedding were born out of wedlock. one from each side. They have been talking behind our backs, gossiping, making up lies about me, and assuming things about me that are not true. Brother-in-law is twisting and changing my fiancé's words into complete lies that make him seem like the victim. He is feeding these lies of things my fiancé did not say to not only his mother, but his sister and his dad. My sister-in-law and father-in-law are both neutral and won't take sides, but think that this whole thing is insane and want it to end. We do too. They both see that they're doing this whole thing and hate me for no reason. So today my fiancé went to see his mother to essentially call her out for her behavior. She was absolutely hysterical and was not ready to listen to reason or logic. She deflected and denied, and lied about things we knew were in fact true. She refused to take accountability or any sort of blame for the situation getting out of hand. She just deferred back to blaming me for everything and making me the villain and herself and her precious baby son, brother-in-law, the victim. Meanwhile, the last time I spoke to either of them was when we had that conversation with mother-in-law at her house where my fiancé slipped and this whole thing started. My fiancé has been handling this whole thing and even trying to shield me from the blame and take it all for himself. It's not working. Mother-in-law and brother-in-law have made this whole thing up in their heads and driven themselves and everyone else crazy over it. Meanwhile, all I've done is express my concerns for having a child in the wedding that we don't know, in that initial conversation, when they aren't engaged or married. And the fact that we already filled the roles. She denies favoring brother-in-law and claims that she is hurt by the accusation, and then in the same breath favors him and defends him. I feel the worst for my fiancé because he doesn't even want anything to do with them anymore and does not feel the need to keep up with these relationships. He said that his mother expected him to fall on his face today and apologize for everything because that is what he was forced to do growing up and that's what they're used to. But now that I'm an extension of him, he is not letting me/us get treated this way. He is angry that they are selfishly trying to use our day to make some grand gesture to his brother's girlfriend he's been dating for 4 months and that they refuse to respect our wishes. He is shocked and disappointed that they are lying about us and creating drama around our wedding. He is saying goodbye to this toxic cycle and going to go no contact until they come to their senses and fix this mess. For those of you who asked, we are in premarital counseling with our pastor who is also our officiant. He was bewildered that they even requested this in the first place and shocked and dismayed that they have turned it into such an ordeal. Anyways, this wasn't the update we hoped for, but it's the one we have. Hopefully one day things will turn around. We are hoping mother-in-law at least comes to her senses considering we are the only family that lives near her. Maybe she will learn to support the son and daughter-in-law who will one day birth the grandkids she actually has a shot of seeing regularly, rather than blatantly favoring the son and girlfriend who live across the country. But for the time being, this is it. If this story kept you hooked, give it a like, share your thoughts below, and subscribe for more.